And now to today's hassle-free holiday and more of our season's savings. We've been covering bad spending habits and credit card debt. Well, now it is time to learn how we can keep our accounts in the green. How does having $1 million in savings by 35 sound? How about retiring by 50 or 40? We'll meet people that the New York Times calls Supersavers.
My name is Darlene Orlov.
I'm Ann Houston, and I live in Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Chris Reining here from Madison, Wisconsin.
I was able to retire at 52. I started a business at 30. I had the help of a brilliant strategist accountant. Together, we set a plan, and it made all the difference.
Even though I've not had a raise in 10 years, I have no debt, a financial advisor I totally trust, and a life plan to help me manage finances.
I was able to save 7 figures by the time I was 35. I was able to decrease my spending by over $10,000 a year simply by cutting out everything that wasn't important to me. And now I have the ability to retire well before the age of 40.
Sounds good. Here to break down their secrets to saving is today's financial editor, Jean Chatzky. Jean, good morning.
Good morning.
I like these super savers because they actually seem like they're having fun as well. They're not living the lifestyle of a monk.
They are not. And that's because they've managed to figure out what their values are and line their spending up with their values. And that means they might be able to travel, but they'll cut back on eating out. It's all about what's important to you. And if you don't know what that is, keep a spending diary where you write down what you bought, how much you paid for it, and how you feel about it. And then go back a week later and write down how you feel again, and eventually you'll see those things line up.
So first thing, figure out what you care about. Next, you say, cut out the big things, which kind of seems like duh.
Well, duh, except we are always talking about coffee and how we cut out coffee and how much of a difference that can make. Let's look at the big stuff. And we spend 80% of our money on 20% of the stuff, rent or your mortgage and transportation. So if you downsize where you're living a little bit, you not only shrink the size of your mortgage, but insurance, taxes, utilities, it all reverberates. Same thing, you get rid of one car, maybe you live with one instead of two.
Okay, did you explain the 80-20 rule?
Yeah, you spend 80% of your money on 20% of your stuff, so focus on that 20%.
Okay, next you say set goals. This seems like a good thought.
Not just set goals, but make sure that those goals are really specific. Make sure that there are steps that you can fulfill to achieve those goals and write them down. A piece of research said we are 42% more likely to actually achieve our goals if we just write them down. So make sure you know what you want and you've got steps to go for it.
And you're accountable to yourself. Okay, the next one I like, doesn't involve too much, automate everything.
Once you've got your goals, you got to just make it happen, and you don't want to have to think about it all the time. So when you know how much you want to save every single time you get paid, funnel that money into your 401k, into your 529s, into a plain savings account so that when you go to the ATM, you don't see that number and think, oh, there's money for me to spend.
Okay. Your next one is, I think, a good one. Leave your investments alone. So once you've saved that money, don't touch it.
The thing that can really kill you along the way to this journey is the market tumbles and you think, oh my gosh, I got to get my money out of the stock market. Big mistake, because you're never going to be able to get it back into the stock market at the right time. So if you've got a
even
long-term,
if you're older and you're close to retirement,
you've got different asset allocation if you're older and you're close to retirement, but you still want to stick with your plan, and that means not moving it out because retirement is a really long time. So when the markets tumble, focus instead on accumulating more shares in your investment instead of the price, because the markets are down. You can buy more shares at a cheaper price. You can feel good about that.
Yeah, it's the one thing. You get a little fire sale, hopefully. And then finally, focus on your income, right? What do you mean?
A lot of people haven't gotten a raise in a very long time. If you are not being paid what you're worth, and you can go to websites like salary.com to figure out what you should be making, now is the time to ask for a raise, because if you don't ask, the answer is always no.
I guess it's nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Exactly.
Jean Chatzky, thank you so much. For all of the tips that we've had this week on Today, just go to today.com.